Darling? Ah, I thought I might find you here. How about a nice hot cup of tea before the ball?
I'm not going.
But the whole kingdom...
If you've seen this film, then you know exactly what's happening in this scene. King Harold attempts to give Fiona a love potion provided by the fairy godmother to force her to fall in love with Prince Charming so they could take over the throne. And obviously, at the end we find out King Harold didn't actually give her the potion and the fairy godmother's plans were foiled. But I want you to do something out of the ordinary for me. I want you to view this scene as if it's the very first time you're watching it. But first, let's start from the beginning. We all love Shrek, from his first appearance to his last, from the specials to the memes to the parodies. Who doesn't love this smelly ogre with the heart of a hero? And honestly, I can make as many videos about this character as the internet has. Shrek is a very commonly discussed character. But with this video essay, I want to look past the character of Shrek and focus on a character who I think deserves more attention. And that character being Doris, voiced by Larry King. Oh wait, that's not right. Oh, hang on, let me just check my script. No, not the Quentin Tarantino, that's the next one. Ah, here we go. King Harold, voiced by John Cleese. I'm not gonna lie, watching Shrek 2 as a kid, I always remember enjoying every second of this film whenever King Harold was on screen. He just gives such a unique energy to his scenes, and John Cleese's delivery is just perfect.
Fine, pretend there's nothing wrong. La-di-da-di-da-di-da. Isn't it all wonderful?
To the point where I'd classify him as my favorite character in my favorite Shrek film. And I still do to this day. But after rewatching the film in my young adulthood, I actually noticed an even deeper layer to the character of King Harold, especially in the Tea for Two scene. A moment ago, I asked you to view this scene as if it's the very first time. Because if you do that, there's an incredibly well constructed internal character arc meeting its midpoint in this scene. And the beauty of it is that it goes completely unnoticed. So in this video essay, I want to discuss why his placement in the film works so well.
That's mine. Decaf. Otherwise, I'm up all night.
In order to analyze King Harold's character arc, we need to discuss want and need. A character's want, or a word John Truby uses in his book, The Anatomy of Story, desire, is completely subjective. It is exactly what the character wants out of life, no matter if it's positive or negative. The desire can be an object, like in Indiana Jones and The Last Crusade. It can be a location, like in Up, or it can be a person, like in Groundhog Day. However, a character's need is completely objective to the story. It is what the character must achieve to live a better life, whether that be the validation of family, the owning of responsibility, or to become selfless. And oftentimes, the wants and the needs are completely different, and it's in the difference that the internal conflict of the character is created. In Shrek 2, King Harold's want is fairly simple. He wants a worthy heir to the throne of his kingdom, and for Fiona to be human. His need is something different. King Harold has to accept Shrek as Fiona's husband, and Fiona as she is. And throughout the film, King Harold is tested to reveal if his intent of actions leads towards his desires or his needs. In his book, Story, Substance, Structure, etc., Robert McKee writes, "True character is revealed in the choices a human being makes under pressure. The greater the pressure, the truer the choice to the character's essential nature." And in Shrek 2, there are exactly 3 scenarios at play that force him to make decisions that reveal his true character. Let's discuss them. The first scenario in the film is the day of Shrek and Fiona's ceremony of return. The setup here is that King Harold was expecting Fiona to be rescued by a worthy prince and to be returned home, broken from her curse as an ogre. However, he then learns that Fiona was indeed rescued by the vice versa, and now has to make a choice about how he would address this. He can choose hospitality towards Shrek and give him his blessing, which would fuel his need to accept both Fiona and Shrek as they are, or he could choose to alienate him, which would fuel his want. Regardless of what choice he makes, the only thing at stake here is the social respect and trust of one another, which in King Harold's eyes doesn't really matter, and he chooses to alienate Shrek, so he is still upholding his want. But because the stakes in this scenario isn't at its highest, his true character hasn't reached its full revelation, and there are still 2 more scenarios that could reveal the truth of his character. The The second scenario happens literally a few moments later, when King Harold is friendly abducted by the fairy godmother. The setup here is that the fairy godmother wants the king to rid Fiona of Shrek by assassinating him and allowing Prince Charming to take over. And the stakes presented here are much higher. Shrek's life could possibly be put at risk, which means that any choice King Harold makes would reveal a deeper revelation. So he could choose to disobey the fairy godmother and fulfill his need to accept Shrek as his family, or he could choose to obey her and ensure an heir to his throne, to satisfy his desire. And in a moment of higher pressure, he chooses to obey the fairy godmother. So King Harold is still upholding his desire.
So Fiona and Charming will be together.
Yes.
So by the time we get to the third scenario, both the audience and the fairy godmother has reason to believe that King Harold would choose to hang on to his desire. In this scenario, after he failed to get rid of Shrek, and both he and Fiona turning into their human forms, the fairy godmother commissions the king to give Fiona a love potion to make her fall in love with the first person she kisses, Prince Charming. And it's in this scenario that the stakes have reached their highest. He could choose to give Fiona the potion, which would cost her her sense of love and a compromised throne, or he could reject her offer, and as it results, cost him his external humanity. And at first, he refuses her offer, to throw our momentum of expectations off balance. And the audience is left wondering, maybe he has better interest to fulfill his need. But then as the fairy godmother raises her methods of intimidation, he continues his obedience. So then we finally get to the scene of the discussion. Now that we have covered all of these three scenarios, it's time for King Harold to make his true character revealing choice. Now, if we just stop here, then what we have is a very well constructed setup for the midpoint of a character arc. However, Shrek 2 takes this a step further. Instead of revealing the choice of his character right away, it masks his choice and reserves the reveal until the climax of the film. Remember when I asked you to view this scene as if it was the very first time? Well, this is why. Because upon first viewing, the choice that King Harold makes that reveals his character is known by him, but not known by the audience. So the audience is kept hanging on the edge of their seat until the moment of truth, when Prince Charming kisses Fiona. Now, I know what you're thinking, and yes, if you scrutinize this scene, you can definitely make out what cup of tea has the potion. But do keep in mind that because this film has been rewatched so many times, we can just automatically pay attention to the detail that reveals his character's choice. But that's exactly why I asked you to view this scene as if it was the very first time, to treat it as a blind experience. This intent to mask King Harold's choice also provides the tension of Shrek's mission to stop the fairy godmother. If the audience knew right away that King Harold gave Fiona the clean tea, then we wouldn't have any reason to hope that Shrek would make it to the palace to save Fiona, because she wouldn't have been in any real danger. And all is revealed in the moment of truth. Charming kisses Fiona, and for a brief moment we are led to believe that King Harold chose to obey the fairy godmother. But then...
Fiona.
Shrek.
And...
You were supposed to give her the potion!
Well, I guess I gave her the wrong tea.
King Harold has fulfilled his need to accept Shrek and Fiona as they are. But as always, the consequence of this decision costs him his external humanity. But at the end of the day, King Harold's arc is concluded as he fulfills his need. And his wife, Lillian, closes us off saying,
You're more that man today than you ever were. Warts and all.
amazing.